Today we are getting into something that actually makes up part of the pathway, and that is your food environment. The reason that I want to talk about this is because if you don't consider, what's around you, then you're always just going to be relying on willpower, and then it's just going to be a matter of fighting temptation. Whereas if we can make our food environment support what we're trying to do rather than working against us, it makes things far easier and you're going to be much more consistent with your positive habits. Just as a bit of an example, think about if you had an open tub of chocolates on the side all day, at some point you're going to walk past them and eat them, aren't you? Because this visual stimulus will just weigh you down over time and eventually you're just going to give in. And if you think about it, supermarkets are really good at using this principle by the fact that they put all those impulse buys near the checkout, so just at the end of the shop you're ready to nail them. So what I want you to get out of this is to start being a lot more intentional and purposeful about what you put in certain situations in and around your house. Think about what you got on display and what you got out of sight, because this small tweak can make a massive difference to your consistent habits. So essentially what we want to do is add more friction to the things we want to do less of, and reduce friction for the things we want to do more of. And by friction I mean having intervening steps, having things in the way, making it a bit more or less convenient depending on what we're trying to achieve. And the two areas that I feel like are the biggest problem are the kitchen and your workspace. But we'll start with the kitchen. So within the kitchen, there's a couple of areas that I refer to as the golden zones. And the golden zones are essentially the places that you first look at whenever you open your cupboards and your fridge. Because the research is pretty clear that you're far more likely to choose from the first couple of things that you see when you open something up. So we want to be really mindful of what we put in these golden zones. So if you're trying to eat more vegetables, more fruit, more protein, think about what kind of things you can have there ready to go that are convenient, you can just grab and get stuck into straight away. Equally, if there's certain things you're trying to eat less of, so this might be more like your biscuits, your chocolates, your sweets, we want to increase a bit of friction around those and keep them out of the golden zone. So putting them as far as inaccessible as we can will be really beneficial. And like I say, the situations that I feel like this most applies to are your fridge and the cupboard or the pantry that you go to when you're hungry. I'm sure you can all think of, if you wanted a little snack, where are you going to go? And those areas where you're first going to look are what we really want to target here. The second area worth mentioning is your work environment or your workspace. So this could be the desk at the office. It could be, if you drive a truck, it might be a little cabin. Bloody hell, that's PTSD for me. And if you pretend to do work at home, then it would be what you have in your little home office there. Just as a bit of an analogy for this, a couple of weeks ago I bought a pack of little mini bites of the Terry's chocolate orange. Bloody delicious. And stupidly, I kept it right by my side all day. I was thinking I'd just have a few, but naturally by the end of the day they were completely gone and I'd barely even remember eating them. So if you think about where you spend most of your time during your workday, what we want to do is a similar principle to the golden zones. We want to incorporate some things that you want to eat more of that would kind of our goals, and then make sure that those things that we're trying to reduce will be a little bit more out of sight and out of mind. One more thing that I do want to mention in regards to our workspace is something that is getting harder and harder to do, where our schedules are a bit more blurred and all over the place, and that is getting away from your desk to eat your lunch. Because if you just eat at your desk, you're going to barely even remember eating it. You're not going to be listening to your hunger cues. There's no mindfulness there, and you're actually not going to enjoy your food as much. So wherever possible, I would really encourage you to try and get away from your desk. If you can go outside, that's even better. But spend a little bit of time so that you actually, like I said, you enjoy your food. You've got a chance for it to actually tell your body you're full, and you're just going to eat a lot more sensibly and a lot more mindfully than just that subconscious wolfing it down your neck. So I think it would be really beneficial to consider both your fridge, your snack cupboard and your workplace, and putting a bit of time thinking about what foods you could incorporate that would be convenient, ready to go, but still align with your goals, as opposed to those easy grab and go foods that we're kind of used to having. And that's all I really wanted to say about the food environment.